The 10 o'clock scholar. I made it. I made it at 10 o'clock. How about that? Okay, let's get me a prop here where I can talk to y'all. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Bear with me as I get this thing straight here. Always something that shows up. Always something that shows up. No, we don't want to. We don't want to call the boy Wolf. I don't really want that one. Okay. Which one do I want? What do we want? What do you want? What do we want? We want a sane society. That's what we want. Greetings, everyone. This solar equinox. If you're in North America, you should have already done your rituals to bring in your blessings for the new year. Oh, yeah, this is the new year. The lunar new year. There's a solar new year, which they have in January. And the reason why they have a solar new year is so the farmers won't lose their crop because they don't know when it's going to get cold. So they say by January we should be planting our crops. The cold season should be over with. You know, October to January. But they're wrong. You should be planting your crop from the 20th of March. We used to celebrate it on April 1st. They call us April Fools because they say we was foolish for celebrating the Lunar New Year. But it's important to be in alignment with nature, people. It's important to be in alignment with nature. How can you be in alignment with your body if the time you're operating on is out of alignment? All these times they have us in, it wouldn't start by the Creator, Pope Gregory. How can a pope tell you what time it is? They think they're God. How can a pope tell you anything? We're talking about a sane society, y'all. So the time, you can tell the time, the season, it tells you itself what time it is. Look outside. It's warm. The birds are singing. The plants are growing. Now, that don't mean it's not going to get cold. We're not going to have storms. We may have a storm tomorrow. The point being made is that this is the season of growing. According to Pope Gregory, the new season, the new year began January. And it was still cold in January. So he didn't know what time it is. How can they tell you what time it is? But that's because we're in a sane society. Now, 10 o'clock scholar. You know, this is the first time I recall that I came on exactly at 10 o'clock. So that's part of my intention is to be clarity in everything for this new year. Do everything I can to the best of my ability, right? And it's working already. I just did the rituals, and now, man, 10 o'clock, my mind. Well, see, I never really use, nowadays, uh, you should have developed that you don't need alarms. If you still using alarms, you're not using your inner clock. It's going to not, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Tell yourself what time you want to do something. Your mind is going to tell you it's that time, and you check your clock, you check your watch, it's going to be exactly that time. Your inner clock becomes so good, you wake up straight on the hour. Soon I wake up, I look at the clock. Yep, that's the time I'm supposed to wake up. That's the time I wanted to wake up. So let your use your inner clock. Because when you use anybody else's clock, I say use them. I'm not saying that's the right time. But they play with your mind. They playing with your mind. How can time change an hour? What event in the universe told you to change that? You see? I don't change nothing. I mean, these gadgets we have, it changes automatically. But the clocks I have that I set, they don't change. I mean, look at them differently, but I have mine set where the first hour is 7 o'clock. You know, because the day begins at 6. 6 is the first hour of the day. You know, the morning and the evening. Or no, they say the evening and morning. So actually, the 20th was started on the 6 o'clock on the 19th. That's when the 20th started. So guess what? I did my ritual yesterday too. I did it with my extended family yesterday. Actually, it was 12 o'clock. But today I'm doing it for my personal family. At the time, Pope Gregory says, and the only reason I'm using that time is because to be in harmony with everyone else, you know, the energy, the power of synchronicity and unity. Yeah. To be in unity, that's why I'm doing it. Because most people looking at that time that Pope Gregory says, oh, it's going to happen at March 20th, 9:46 Central Standard Time. So a lot of people doing that. So just to be in harmony with that, I do it. My extended family, we had it at last night, midnight. So to be in harmony with them, I did it. So if you don't know about the equinox, summer solstice, the winter solstice, do some reading, research. It will help you get in alignment with the universe, and that's going to help you be in alignment with yourself. Because most people are out of alignment, and there's many things to distract you to keep you out of alignment. TV, movies, games. These things don't do anything for you if you don't know what you're doing them for. In other words, you do everything you do, it should be for a purpose. When I watch TV or go to a movie, I'm looking for a purpose. I'm looking for something. It's a classroom. So a classroom can be entertaining, but I don't just go for the entertainment. To be entertained. I entertain myself. I don't need someone to entertain me to contain my inner. So, that's what I want to say basically, that you still have till, let me see, 20, 21, 22. I said about 23, you want to do your rituals, bring it into the new year. So do some research, study, and learn upon what you have to do. Oh, let me light a candle. That's something I wanted to do. So, yeah, greetings to everyone in the chat. How's everyone doing? Maggie, how you doing? Who else in there? Uh, I see you, Maggie. Did you do your spring equinox? Man, that brings such peace and calm to you. You're missing it if you're not doing this. And the reason why you have that peace and calm because you're recognizing the harmony of the universe. You're being in harmony with the universe. Alignment is very important. For example, if you're driving and your wheels with your steering column, you're going to crash. Everything got to be in alignment. Well, we got good weather here. It's beautiful. But like I say, that can change overnight. I think there's going to be a big storm coming in a couple of days, or tomorrow or next day. I heard something was really coming. Because, see, everything comes from the space. Weather comes from space. So when you look at the weather in space, you see what's going to come to the Earth, as above, so below. Oh, now I just remember why I came here. I want to read you these natural progression of the 7 laws. First, we have mentalism, and see, you're getting the truth, Maggie, because you stand here. Mentalism. Reality begins as awareness. Thought, breath, and perception generate the mental field in which everything else appears. Now, in Hebrew, there's a term called nakol todaha. Nakol todaha. Now, this is a progression of the 7 laws. Most people know the 7 laws, but I'm going deep. I'm finding how do you get from mentalism to the law of correspondence? Well, first, everything got to become aware. You got to be aware of things. Reality begins as awareness. Thought, breath, and perception generate the mental field in which everything else appears. That naturally leads to correspondence. Ha'ah-mah. And I'm learning Hebrew, so bear with me in my pronunciations. Ha'at-ah-mah. The mind recognizes that inner patterns mirror outer patterns. What is perceived inside aligns with what appears outside. You see that word alignment again. There's a common saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. But there's another sentence people do not say or do not know. You see, as above, so below, as within, so without. I walk through the doorway of unity. You see, they don't know about that. In other words, everything is coming together, being unified. Macro with the micro. The universe, if you look out in the skies and the stars, they're a reflection of the inside of us, of our human body. Everything's a reflection of everything, pattern of everything else, a mirror. Isn't that beautiful? Now, once you recognize patterns, then that leads to, once you have alignment with the patterns, that leads to vibration. Retin, retin, retin. That's vibration in Hebrew. That means the corresponding patterns are not static. They move. Difference is understood as rate of motion and separation. You know, vibration is very important. It enhances creation. What would we be without the rotation, the vibration? Everything vibrates, by the way. Everything moves. So remember, let's go. Remember now where we're going. First, you got to see what reality begins with your awareness. Then you see the patterns in things within and outside of you. Then that pattern, those patterns are moving. Nothing stands still. Everything is moving. You don't perceive it because it's moving so fast. You look at that stone. That stone is not static. It's vibrating. We can't perceive it because we're vibrating too. Okay, now that vibrating, that movement creates contrast. Okay, because that means everything don't vibrate at the same rate. Picture a sine wave. Up, down, high, low. That's how things vibrate. You remember a beautiful woman has a high voice, she's vibrating high. And a man has a low voice, he's vibrating low. Is it bad? No, that's balance. We're going to get to that. All motions correspondent. Where we at now? Okay. From vibrations, you get contrast. We at polarity now. Hake va viyo. Hake va viyo. That's polarity. That's why we're talking about the high and the low vibration. All motion expresses itself through opposites on a single spectrum. That's when you hear people say things like there's no good or bad, because they're on the same vibration. You heard the song, "There's a thin line between love and hate." Yeah, you may not love someone. You may be indifferent, but really love is not the opposite of hate. The opposite of love really is indifference. And in a way, there's an attachment as emotion response. You're not being indifferent. So if you hate someone strongly, that's just a lower vibration of love. Because if you just was indifferent to them, then you wouldn't attach an emotional attachment to it. This is where we get into the difference between duality and polarity. People confuse the two. Polarity, you have to have a relationship between the opposites. In duality, there's no relationship. Okay, so after polarity, it takes us, we see the opposites, the oscillation or the vibration of opposites. That takes you to rhythm. Retin, resin. Opposing forces rise and fall, and fall in cycles. Nature moves in pulses, waves, and repeating patterns. A good example of this is the rotation of the earth and the moon. Everything goes in a pattern, a cycle. Women, you have your cycle. Men too, you just got to know what that is. Sometimes when you're very centered, and sometimes you're off kilter. This is why you have to know the rhythm of your significant other. You know, because they be going through some. It's a cycle. Nobody's gonna be up, vibrating high all the time. You can if you know how, but until you know how, you know there's a cycle. You're going, you know, and those cycles establish predictability. People win money. They do everything on the market because they have predictability of the rhythm of the market, how it's going. Okay, that takes us to the next one. Is should be cause and effect. What happened to it? Okay, well I know it, even though they didn't put it here. I know the next one should be cause and effect, and that's in Hebrew. That's siba vinto sera. What is cause and effect? Repeating rhythms creates chains. Every action produces a consequence. Nothing occurs randomly. There's a term called abracadabra. As I said, so it would be. Your words are creation things that you speak. So I hope y'all appreciate my lessons. I do. Because I go back and listen to my lessons and make sure I know them in my studies. This is what we do in the university. So you want to participate in the university? Let me know in the comments. You can. Oh, you go and find the link. That's why you do your homework. You got to go to my many videos and find the link. That means you really want this. And we got a big university there. Everything operates by itself. Lessons, things you will never get anywhere else. If you're anything like me, you want to know, you want knowledge. So I created a universe from the knowledge I gather. Don't cost you anything but time. And time is a very precious commodity. So that cause and effect is a repeating rhythm that creates change. You know, because a cause creates an effect, they create another cause, they create an effect. You know, let's give you an example. You driving, you turn the wheel, the car's going to turn. You're going to go off the road. You see in the stop sign, you cause you to stop. You see a red light calls you to stop. Green light calls you to go. So everything is related. We relating everything now from the awareness to seeing the patterns, and then the movement of the patterns, and then the polarity of the patterns. And now we got the chain of the patterns. Every action produces a consequence. There's nothing happened by accident. People say accidents. No. Somebody violated the law. You did something outside of being in alignment. We had a sister in class last night who her daughter was hit by a car because it didn't stop at the stop sign. She's walking a dog. The dog didn't get hit. It didn't trust that car. It made sure he got out the way. But you walking in front of a ballistic missile, somebody driving a missile. and you trust that person, yeah, that's the way they got it set up. Cross the street in front of cars. I cross the street, and whenever possible, all the time, I go behind cars. Because if a car behind a car, that car is not going to accelerate and hit me. But if I'm the only one in front of that car, yeah, a voice might tell him, slip your feet slip your feet off the brakes and say it was an accident. I mean, would you trust a 2,000-pound vehicle in front of you and you don't even know the driver and he don't know you? That's insane. So I would say the young lady, she wasn't paying attention. She thought the man was gonna stop. Man, you cross the street thinking somebody gonna stop? How you know they even see the stop sign? How you know they even uh uh in part of the Sane Society? See, that's what we're talking about. They might be a part of the other society. On drugs, high. People drive high all the time. So you just can't trust them because the signs say stop. People don't even look at the sign. I was in a discussion with driving some people, my family one time, and we got kind of heated discussion. I ran a stop sign and I almost had an accident. Yeah, because I wasn't paying attention. So cars can be distracted. People can be distracted. So I would make sure something stopped before I walked in front of it. I mean, that's common sense, really, to me. If I were going to walk in front of it. And I'd run. I wouldn't walk. I'd run. Get out the way. But when I come to an intersection, I don't cross at the corner. They call it jaywalking. I call it safe walking. I'm walking when there's no cars coming either way. Nobody can make an accident and slip their feet off the brakes and hit me. I'm talking about the Sane Society. This is what I do. Okay, now we're going to wrap this up quick. Oh, man, we went too far. Well, we went a long time. I'm not going to say too far. Gender, generations. That's the last one. It's pronounced Hazit Vot. Hazit Vot. Now, gender is projecting and receiving forces unite to generate new forms, ideas, and realities. So, in gender, we look at the idea of the vessel. You know, you have the vessel, the seed. The seed and the vessel are one. You know, and depending on your righteous, you bring form with divine intent. What are you really saying, 10 o'clock scholar? Well, ask me the question and I will respond. Yeah, you can ask me questions. I'm going to answer the best of my ability. Well, thank y'all for stopping by. I didn't intend on going, well, I did because I did it. I can't say what I didn't intend to do when I did it. See, that's how you got to check your language. So, until next time, thank y'all for coming by. This is 10 o'clock Scholar. See you on the rebound.